It's time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 for a special Shoe Shine boxing preview on a Friday at lunchtime, guys. Glad to have you. If you're watching me live right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, let me know you're in the chat. If you're on your lunch break, I appreciate you for tuning in. If you'd like to be a guest co-host and you're one of my lovely moderators, let me know in the comments section. I'll drop the link. I can even blur your face. I can even have Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan as your profile picture. That'd be great, guys. Glad to have you guys. Usually on Thursday nights, I've been doing my best to come back on the air for a second show to talk about the upcoming weekend fights. Monday is more of a recap of what we just saw and what's going on. And I like to sprinkle in a lot of news and gossip, obviously. The 2-day-a-week formula is barely improving the numbers, so I recognize I got to get on the air, on the YouTube much more often. I want to wish you guys a blessed weekend early. So we're going to do a little lunchtime show. Let me see here what's going on here in the comments section. Oh, see here. Fonzie, what up? What up on a Friday? What up, Fonzie? What up, Jimenez Video Productions? Cubole, he says. Big Spooky in the building. Fonzie says he's just waking up, man. You work a graveyard last night or a swing shift? Yeah, it's a Friday, man. It's chill, you know. I had the afternoon off, and last night I wasn't feeling too good. And by the way, if you want to keep Drew in your prayers, my co-host Drew, Philadelphia, Drew Evo, he was having a little bit of a health scare yesterday, so he wasn't able to do the show. I wasn't feeling it either. And sometimes, to be honest, I go on the YouTube app, and I check to see who's live. And if I got a lot of competition on, well, like last night, everybody was live. You know, it seems to be that I choose 7:30 or 7:45 as my start time. It's just too much competition going on. So I'm competing for everybody's attention. So we're gonna try out Friday at lunch. If it doesn't go well, we'll go back to Thursday. Maybe we'll do Friday next week too. That being said, guys, this is the weekend of boxing rematches, revanchas. Of course, the ladies, and it's also kind of a big weekend for women's boxing, which I know a lot of hardcore boxing fans are still trying to get into it. But last year, we had two incredible women's matches, and one of them is the one right here that you're going to see this weekend in Las Vegas at the Fontainebleau, a beautiful new casino that I've never seen a fight at. And Fonzie goes to the fights with us a lot. Fonzie, we love the Palms. We love the casinos. Gotta check out one of these fights at Fontainebleau. It is kind of a stacked card. So much so that Saturday, and you know, Top Rank, guys, if you follow the sport, Top Rank's contract with ESPN is coming up this summer. So they're kind of flooding the market with some pretty good shows. This Saturday, you could watch boxing for free on ESPN. Shout out to Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Appreciate you being here at a lunchtime on a Friday. This weekend, anybody could watch it. And you know, that's one of the biggest problems in boxing today is that the price of admission to be a boxing fan is ridiculous. Everything is getting more expensive. Going to fights, going to sporting events, going to concerts, it's fucking out. It's unreal how expensive it is. And then for boxing fans, you know, the lack of televised fights on regular, cable television. We're lucky to even get this Saturday on ESPN. The women, they're gonna take a shot with the women. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Top Rank will get an extension of their contract, but the way things are going at ESPN, it seems extremely unlikely. At the top of the card, we'll get into this one right away, is the rematch between Michaela Mayer. Michaela Mayer featured on my intro. I remember meeting her, and I remember chatting. Who was I chatting with this week? Shout out to PM Martinez. I was chatting with PM Martinez about Ellie Seckbach. And I remember that the day that I met Michaela Mayer, well, I had to follow. I was asking her some questions. I've never shown you guys that interview because it wasn't a particularly good interview, but I had followed Ellie Seckbach, and I had to sit there and watch the great Ellie Seckbach do his thing and show an amateur like me how it's done. Shout out to SB. Good to see you. I appreciate that big dono earlier in the week, SB. As a matter of fact, it's tequila time. So I'm going to be trying to go either today or tomorrow to my local Total Wine & More on the Las Vegas Boulevard. My favorite Total Wine & More to get that tequila that I promised you. I appreciate you so much being here on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, it's hard to get going out even in Las Vegas or wherever you're at is becoming increasingly more expensive. So bad. Guys, I know if you guys have any money invested in the stock market, you're probably glued to your stocks or your portfolio or your 401k. Things are so bad in this economy that I'm lucky to say that I finished paying off my Starbucks from November. You know, I'm on the payment plan for a fucking a mocha frappuccino over here. But things are so bad that we have to finance and make payments on our food delivery now, right? Yeah, that's my attempt at comedy today, guys. But anyways, going back to this fight, we got two awesome rematches this weekend. One brought to you by Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya in Cancun. Big fan of Zepeda. We got to see, Fonzie and I got to see Zepeda. And while I'm on the subject of Zepeda, who will be rematching, who, by the way, guys, I don't think a lot of people are going to find my opinion popular, but Tevin Farmer, who he's fighting, won that last fight. Zepeda was dropped by him, and he had to rally back, and to me, the rally wasn't good enough. It's an unpopular opinion. I think Tevin Farmer won that first one. Lucky for us as fight fans, Oscar De La Hoya, Eric Gomez of Golden Boy, the WBC Suleiman said, hey, let's run this one back and let the fans know who is the more dominant number one contender. Remember, guys, Zepeda was the number one contender and was just about to get his dream fight with Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur Stevenson's hands were not ready to go. So we're going to run this one back. Also very unpopular opinion. I hope so, Christopher. Shout out to Christopher. He says Trump will save you. I hope so. I really hope so. The economy and Americans are depending on it. We don't want to go into a recession. Now, Tevin Farmer, very unpopular opinion. Fonzie, if you're here, this fight really bothered me. It was a night we went to the Palms Casino last year, one where Salinas, California, a fighter that I'm very close to, Ruben Villa, was on the card. Ruben Villa, a featherweight contender, was about to make his entry into the top echelon of the featherweight division when a guy from Africa that very few people know, Segawa, really worked him. And unfortunately, Ruben Villa, who had brought a huge crowd from Salinas all the way to Las Vegas, I was there, came away with a major loss that set him so far back that I don't even see him on, I'm not sure if he's on the roster of top-ranked fighters now, but his featherweight title dreams disappeared. Who they didn't disappear for is Bruce Carrington, who's going to be on this card on Saturday at Top Rank. Bruce Carrington fought the same guy, Segawa, that beat my Ruben Villa. And Bruce Carrington walked away with a gift. Another unpopular opinion, Bruce Carrington did not fucking win that fight against African fighter Segawa. Segawa really should be a guy at the top of the featherweight division, but he's not because of politics. That's just the way it works. Is that right? Yeah, the co-main event was Kid Austin. We saw William Zepeda at the Cosmopolitan. He brought his entire family. I'll make sure on Monday I have the video clip because his entourage was insane. I remember we were in the hallway and here comes the entire Zepeda Mexican entourage. It must have been 50 deep, guys. It was like a freaking parade after he won. But everybody from the Zepeda family was lovely. They were actually really, really nice. Speaking of Kid Austin, Fonzie, that is the night that the Cosmopolitan oversold. So many people wanted to see William Zepeda fight at the Cosmopolitan Las Vegas. They oversold their ringside tickets. I remember we splurged. We all splurged. We had ringside, well, not completely ringside, but very close to ringside seats. We get there, and they're like, we don't have seats. We're sit over here. Next thing I know, I'm sitting in press row. I think Marcos Villegas was sitting 2 seats away from me. I'm sitting in press row with my wife, Bella. Then the ushers are like, nah, you got to move. So they move us right behind the entire DAZN production crew, and I'm sitting at the co-main event with a screaming mother saying, come on, Floyd, come on. I'm like, oh shit, is this Kid Floyd Austin's mom sitting right next to me? I'm sitting right behind Sergio Mora, To the right of me is Kid Austin's mom screaming away. I think that fight ended in a disqualification, right? Right, Fonzie? As soon as that fight was over, the ushers were like, oh, yo, you guys got to move. I was like, fuck, these are the best seats I've ever had in my life. I'm never going to sit behind the DAZN production crew. I'm sitting next to Floyd Austin's mom. And they're like, well, these seats are for the family fighters. We just sat you here temporarily. I'm like, well, where are they going to move us now next, right? Well, they ended up moving us just a few seats behind alongside where the fighters make their grand entrance. And I got to see the opponent of William Zepeda, Maxie Hughes, come in and leave defeated. Got his ass whooped. William Zepeda's family took that entire row behind the DAZN production crew. I gotta say, it was a great night. It was a very fun night. But William Zepeda, one of my favorite contenders, the number one contender at lightweight for anybody, for Shakur, should be fighting Tank Davis, should be fighting Keyshawn Davis. He got a gift, in my opinion. And unfortunately for Tevin Farmer, who was a champion at 130 pounds, a great champion at 130 pounds, despite the lazy eye. Y'all know he got the lazy eye. Tevin Farmer was robbed against, not only was he robbed against Murataya, right? Robert Garcia's Murataya, great fighter. He got robbed that night. The same night that Ruben Villa got defeated by Sagawa. I'm like, damn, this is a fucking bad night. This is just an off night, you know? The wrong call, gift decisions. My boy from Salinas, California, Ruben Villa, coming away with a dramatic bad loss that set him majorly back. In fact, I don't know if he has a fight date. Tevin Farmer got robbed there at the Palms. You know, you're not the in-house fighter with Top Rank. He gets fucking robbed. He gets robbed against Zepeda. He really should be undefeated at the new division at 135. He really should be ranked amongst the top 5. He should be way up there in rankings. I don't think he's lost a match. That's just my opinion, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Let me know if you guys like this Friday stream. I appreciate you being here with me at lunchtime. Let's get back to the main event this Saturday at the Fountain. Is it Fontainebleau? Do you guys call it Fontainebleau? Fontainebleau? Real quick tip. If you want to go to the Fontainebleau, park at the Circus for free, man. You can park across at the Circus. As ghetto and as fun as Circus is, you could park there all night and go across the street. Even Fontainebleau, I think, has only a few hours for locals in Las Vegas. I think I get 3 hours, which is not enough to go inside, enjoy the fight, and come back out. You know, I'd still end up paying maybe $20 for that additional hour. So F you to all those damn casinos on the strip charging locals, man. Shout out to all the casinos still letting locals and everybody park for free. That's the way it should be. Should be fucking free to park in Las Vegas. All right, I'm not going Saturday, guys. I'm going to enjoy the fight from home. I'm going to enjoy the William Zepeda fight from Cancun, Mexico on DAZN. I'm going to enjoy both of these fights. Let's talk about that. It's kind of a women's weekend. We got the big rematch. Like I said, this is the big rematch. This first one took place in New York City. Very close fight. But Michaela Mayer, who moved up from, I think, 130 pounds, became a champion there. Now at welterweight, 17 pounds heavier, beats the champion from the UK. And this fight was extremely controversial, guys, because leading up to the fight, if you guys have never seen it, if you don't remember what happened, Sandy Ryan on Thursday, I believe before the weigh-in, was reportedly attacked by two guys coming out of a vehicle. They still haven't been prosecuted or found, or I don't know what happened with that. But, there are a lot of memes out here, boxing memes out here. She's wearing her paint because somebody got out of the car and threw paint on her, threw paint all over her. This was her at her hotel the day before the fight. A lot of people, obviously the speculation was it was Team Michaela Mayer. I've met Michaela Mayer. I know she's good friends with Christine Lopez. Bob Arum came to her defense and said that she had absolutely nothing to fucking do with that. She would never do that. It's controversial. And it may have actually helped get Michaela Mayer the competitive edge up here, a mental edge. Fonzie says, I'll be coming next weekend for the Richard Torres match, and I'm going to meet you at I'll most likely meet you at the Palms. We'll still see if I'm going to be able to fetch enough to get into the venue. That's going to be very exciting to see Richard Torres of California, the silver Olympic medalist, to see how he's going to do against Guido. Is it Guido? He's fighting Guido Vianello, the Italian heavyweight, a real heavyweight, a real top 10 heavyweight. Finally, we're going to see if little Richard Torres, standing 6'2", 6'3", 220 pounds, I don't know, 230 at the max, if he's going to be able to take on these super heavyweights that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'5", can he handle a big? I can't wait to see that. All right, I digress, guys. Going back to the Michaela Mayer fight this weekend, I wanted to quickly see what the odds are and how we're going to bet, but the card is stacked, guys. Alongside that fight, we've got, very exciting, we have Brian Norman Jr., who is now the WBO welterweight champion. We have 2 titles on the line on Saturday at Top Rank. Brian Norman Jr. got the WBO belt because he was the interim champion, and Terrence Bud Crawford officially left the division. He had the payday opportunity of his life to fight Drew Evil's Philadelphia's Boots Ennis. $1.7 million offered by Matchroom Boxing. And Brian Norman Jr. turned it down. Him and his dad played himself. I'm sorry to fucking say it. You fumbled the bag. $1.7 million, and now you're fighting a tough, hard-hitting, unknown Puerto Rican fighter, unknown to even me. I had to go watch his highlight reel. Derek Cuevas of Puerto Rico. Brian Norman Jr. has fought some pretty tough Puerto Ricans in his record, guys, and he destroyed San Diego's Giovanni Santillan, destroyed him physically. I think he's going to come away with this victory. I'll look at the odds shortly. Again, Bruce Carrington, featherweight contender, is also on the card. And to top it off, you have the son of the legend, Fernando Ferros Vargas' son, Emiliano Vargas. Once of the 3 sons who are all professional boxers, he's the only one to have gotten a major contract. The other sons are fighting professionally. He got the Top Rank deal. He's been on TV, reality TV. They had their own TV show, Los Vargas, on, what was it, the Latino channel Univision. They're used to the camera time. And he's bound to become a star in boxing, Emiliano Vargas. Bound to. But right now, Top Rank is playing it safe. Don't expect to see Emiliano Vargas against anybody who's going to come close to beating the Kim. All right? He's the son of a legend, Hall of Famer, and Fernando Vargas. Do not expect anything but fodder for competition for now. That's the formula at Top Ranks: developing stars, developing contenders, and getting them ready for title opportunities or to become world champions. That is the formula at Top Rank. So I get you, when you watch someone like Emiliano Vargas, basically this weekend, we're just looking to see how he's progressing on the eye test, guys. You know what I'm saying? How he is progressing the eye test, his speed, his coordination, his defense, his combinations, you know, and I expect him to look great as usual. Bruce Carrington, again, he's almost there for a, Bruce Carrington's on the verge. I believe he's ranked number 1, and Bruce Carrington only has to win this fight, and the WBO it's going to be the easiest route for him. Bruce Carrington is to fight the very tall Mexican Rafael Espinoza, who fights on Top Rank, who's 6'1", in a fight. If he gets that dream match at Bruce Carrington, I would not be surprised if Bruce Carrington gets knocked out by Rafael Espinoza. In fact, reading today, Bruce Carrington's talking about he'd like to fight Nick Ball, you know, and that he's not ranked number 1 by that organization, but he's so confident that he's willing to go to the UK, and I like that. I like to hear that you're so confident you're willing to go into the champion's backyard, as should be. If you're the title, you know, if you're a contender, you should be going to the champion's backyard. That's the fucking way it works. The champion gets to call the shots. And Nick Ball is a devastating little featherweight. Everybody, we enjoy watching Nick Ball. I like it. We'll see if Bruce Carrington, I'm fairly confident Bruce is going to win this fight. Now in the main event, let's quickly look at these odds. Where's my DraftKings at, guys? Michaela Mayer, a very, very close fight. Extremely close. The first one was extremely, extremely close, but she ends up snatching that 140, that welterweight title, becomes a second two-time, two-division world champion. All right, Brian Norman. Come on, don't tell me we got the odds on DraftKings for Derek. Emiliano Vargas versus Giovanni Gonzalez, a Emiliano Vargas is a negative 3,500 favorite. You would have to bet $3,500 to win $100. Obviously, you're not going to do that. Bruce Carrington versus Enrique Vivas. Bruce Carrington is a negative 1,400 favorite. Obviously, that's kind of shares my sentiment that Bruce Carrington is going to win and put himself in a position to be a title contender for the featherweight division. In the co-main event, Brian Norman versus Derek Cuevas of Puerto Rico. Brian Norman has done extremely well against Latino fighters. He's got a lot to prove. He's only a negative 700 favorite. This is the one fight that's interesting, guys. If you're willing to bet on the underdog, Derek Cuevas, a $100 bet for the underdog could walk away. You could walk away with your $100 and an extra $475. I like that. I like this bet, guys. Derek Cuevas, the upset. If I see an upset on the card, I think it would be Derek Cuevas. Well, I don't know Brian Norman Jr.'s long inactivity. Shout out to JC. Appreciate you coming in here on a Friday. Just looking at the odds right now for Saturday's main event card from ESPN at the Fontainebleau. And somehow I can't find the main event. The girls on here. What's going on with that? DraftKings, you got everybody here. It quickly jumps to the Golden Boy. Okay, found it. Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan. Extremely close odds. And because the first fight was so freaking competitive, Sandy Ryan now coming to Las Vegas, also Michaela Mayer's backyard. It's also the place Michaela Mayer won her first title. She won that at the Virgin Hotel during COVID era. Sandy Ryan, is this right? Negative 110, both of them? Cuevas is a live dog. I think he is a live dog, JC. I really do. I think it is a live dog, and I like the odds in that one because if there's any value for this bet, it'd be that one right there. Derek Cuevas, a plus 475 underdog. $100, you get that 475 back. Brian Norman Jr., a negative 700 favorite. Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan, well, I've never seen this on DraftKings for boxing, but they're both a negative 110 favorite. That's a toss-up. What could Sandy Ryan do in the rematch? I think Sandy Ryan's got a catcher with a big, heavy shot, and she does have a lot of power, and she's exhibited that. But Michaela Mayer, she can box, she can slug, she can stick to a game plan. I think she's going to be a small favorite, but I would not be surprised if something different happens in this fight and Sandy Ryan brings it to her. Shout out to F Donuts. Appreciate you joining me. F Donuts, feel free to share your channel. Anybody here who has a channel that is a mod, feel free to share F Donuts. We're trying to help our boy F Donuts get monetized on his channel because I got a lot of help along the way, and it was a long journey for me to even get that first level of monetization. I want to help other creators as well, man. Shout out to you, F Donuts, and everybody in the Arizona crew. Speaking of Arizona, opening day of baseball, I'm wearing my San Jose Giants hat. I got to get a new Frisco Giants hat, guys, because, you know, that's where I'm from. But speaking of Arizona, David Benavidez showed up on my timeline throwing out the first pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And as far as first pitches go, David Benavidez, an incredible champion from Arizona, lightning fast hands, incredible power, speed. Damn, he barely fucking made the mound. He barely made the mound. Go out and look for that clip. David Benavidez throwing the first pitch. I'm going to presume David Benavidez, who boxing was his life at a very early age, I'm going to presume that he did not spend a lot of time throwing the ball and playing catch and that he played zero baseball because I've seen worse. We've seen a lot worse first pitches that don't make the mound, but this one just barely made the mound, guys. Go look for David Benavidez throwing the opening pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. Can I share my OnlyFans? Fonzie, go ahead. Share your OnlyFans. Padres won 7-4. So at the moment, congratulations to the Padres and the SF Giants. And did the Dodgers win? I'm going to presume the Dodgers won, that we're all tied in first place, right? In the National League West. All right, going back to some boxing talk, guys. That's the ESPN card. Again, tomorrow it says here, the ESPN card will be televised on ESPN regular ESPN at 7 p.m. So I'm going to presume they're going to show at least the Derek Cuevas 2 title fights. And ESPN Plus will be showing the entire event starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You'll get to watch all of those other fights on that at 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And I'm going to be real with you regarding ESPN Plus, guys. The minute Top Rank leaves ESPN Plus or the ESPN app, I'm going to cancel my ESPN Plus. Since I've had it, they've crept it up now. They keep creeping up the prices. Most of these subscription services keep creeping up prices. And I don't really have a fucking reason to have ESPN Plus or any of that crap if you're not showing boxing. And by the way, they bury the boxing on the app so bad that it's extremely annoying. Really quickly, I'm going to show a picture. Again, if you're going to watch the undercard, we want to watch people like see how Fernando's son is doing, Emiliano Vargas, El General. Well, see how these guys are doing. We got 20 of you in here. I appreciate it. 26 likes. Can we get to 30 likes? It's worth my while doing a Friday after. My experiment is all right, man. It's worth it doing a Friday afternoon lunch stream really quickly. Now we're going to move on to Cancun, Mexico. We do have some news. I said it's a big weekend for women's boxing. The first of which was the major announcements, speaking of television networks, is that Taylor Serrano 3 and 1 and 2 were freaking incredible. The most watched televised boxing event maybe in all history. I don't know. I forgot. Netflix did the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Taylor and Serrano got it on 12 grueling rounds? I forget. Serrano's one of the only female champions that wants to fight like men, 12 minutes, 3-minute rounds. And both of these fights have been so incredible that I read today that they netted, as far as making money, they made close to $12 million together combined in the rematch. Highest grossing women's boxing, period. All courtesy of Jake Paul, MVP. Speaking of Jake Paul and MVP, I said this is a big weekend for women's boxing. He decided to go, man, he's a smart gambler. He's a smart guy. He's going all in. He signed 4 more women to MVP that he thinks are going to be women's champions, adding to the deep roster now and really laying down the groundwork for being the epicenter of women's boxing. MVP Jake Paul is going heavy, signing 4 new women. Not only that, guys, I neglected to say, but I don't have the name of the female boxer correctly, but she's a Chicana from California. And Top Rank signed, they said, we got to get in on this too. Top Rank signed to a multi-fight deal who is expected to be a world champion, a Chicana from Los Angeles that they say is the next Sinisa Estrada. They say she's definitely going to be the next Sinisa Estrada. I'm going to take Top Rank's word for it. They're pretty good at, and hopefully Top Rank will work with people like MVP to make these big women's fights. Now, not to leave out Oscar De La Hoya this weekend, we go to Cancun because on the undercard of the Cancun, we have Yokaste Valley. Fonzie, you remember Yokaste Valley was at that Top Rank card that we went to at the Palms Casino. Yokaste Valley moving up in weight to fight. Is it Esparza? Shit, a former women's champion and Esparza moving up in weight. This should be a really good women's matchup. Again, it's in Cancun this weekend on DAZN, the co-main. Another big fight, women's fight. We're going to get 2 really good women's fights this weekend. You're probably going to enjoy it. We're probably going to enjoy those fights. And I also wanted to point out, back to Netflix, guys. Back to Netflix. Netflix loved so much what Jake Paul did with MVP that obviously you heard. Now, these fights are not going to be, I'm not sure if Turki Al-Ashik is going to be behind all of them, but obviously the biggest event of boxing this year is going to be Terrence Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Terrence Bud Crawford preparing now as we speak. I heard Lester Martinez, that's well-known. Lester Martinez is going to be one of his primary sparring partners. Guatemalan super middleweight contender coming off a massive knockout on Pro Box. Lester Martinez. Steve Cole Nelson, who, shout out to him, was on Christine Lopez's show this weekend on YouTube. Looks like he might get a lot of work with Bud, too, to help him prepare. Stephen Cole Nelson just coming off a close fight with Diego Pacheco, another very solid 168-pound contender that is going to help Bud Crawford prepare for Canelo Alvarez. But Netflix is all over it, guys. This looks like we are going to get the biggest fight of the year for free on Netflix. If you got Netflix, you're going to get this for free. They're also eyeing the possibility of Anthony Joshua versus the Gypsy King on Netflix. JC says, está bien buena la Yocasta. Excuse me. Yeah, Yocasta Valley, one of the more popular female fighters. And I believe, was it Roberto Diaz? Roberto Diaz, who I had the pleasure of meeting. He's been on the round table many times. Roberto Diaz is the person who is responsible for signing a lot of the female talent at Golden Boy. Even though he's not with Golden Boy anymore, he's responsible for bringing them on board and having that vision for Golden Boy to have female champions. So we go back to Cancun, Mexico, guys. We're going to look at the odds really quickly for this fight in Cancun. Again, the first one, hotly contested. I really, really firmly believe that in this first fight, which was a banger of a fight, which was really a fight, excuse me, William Zepeda didn't need to take. William Zepeda was already the mandatory number one to Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson said, Turki Al-Sheikh wanted that fight to happen right away. But Shakur, for whatever reason, his hands, and he's still having hand issues. He just fought, and he's saying his hands aren't in very good shape. He also didn't need to fight. He really didn't need to fight this rematch, but he's going to do it. Everybody on board. Oscar De La Hoya is on board. The WBC, Suleiman is on board. They said, let's run it back. Let's let the fans know that you beat Tevin Farmer not only the first time, but you're going to beat him decisively the second time. Shout out to Nando. Good to see you on a Friday broadcast, homie. Good to have you guys. I will just say it out here, but Drew and I missed the old days. We missed the old days where the shoe shine was doing all right horizontally, and we did the phone lines. And I'm ready to try it again. Nando, if Nando wants to be the favorite caller, man, I'm ready to try these Monday night phone calls shows horizontally. I've also gotten word from other channels that are developing that say they'd like to come on the shoe shine and maybe come and be guest panelists. Shout out to XL. Shoot us a good parlay for the weekend. Let's do this on DraftKings.com. If you're willing to on this parlay on the main event for ESPN, you do a 4-leg parlay. Michaela Mayer in Las Vegas. I find it hard for her to lose even a close decision. I'm picking Michaela Mayer. In the co-main, I'm going to take some big risk here. I'm going with Derek Cuevas as a spoiler. And that's probably what's going to fumble this parlay. You can instantly implement your choice, Brian Norman Jr. But in the Cancun fight, I got Yocasta Valley moving up in weight. Let me quickly see what the odds are on that fight. They should have her here. There is a very good championship fight. Oscar Collazo versus Edwin Cano. Oscar Collazo is a negative 5,000 favorite. You can add that one. That's a guaranteed one on your parlay right there. Oscar Collazo making his fourth or fifth defense in a row of his world title, guys. He's going to win that one for sure. And then again, going back up here, Bruce Carrington, you can add him to your parlay. That's a solid, easy win for me to call. Emiliano Vargas. These parlays, yeah. Emiliano Vargas is absolutely going to win. In the female co-main event, I believe I'm going to go with Yocasta Valley winning this one. And in the main event, I find it impossible. Tevin Farmer did drop William Zepeda. I think William Zepeda is going to tighten up that guard. And I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Tevin Farmer to come away with a victory in Mexico, man. But I got so much respect for Tevin Farmer, guys. He is the ultimate road dog. He deserves a victory. If this is close, boy, it would be remarkable for me to say that the judges in Cancun would not give it once again to William Zepeda El Camarón. But Tevin Farmer is going to give him hell, man. I'm actually rooting for Tevin Farmer in this one. Nando L says, Collazo is pound for pound. And XL says, do you think Norman fight goes to the 12th round? So I feel like somebody's getting stopped in that fight, man. Those previous fights, you know, he was able to stop Giovanni Santillan. I think that I feel like the upset could be Derek Cuevas. But I also think that, I also think that it's very likely that Brian Norman Jr. could defend his title and win it over a 12-round decision. As far as Tevin Farmer versus Zepeda, I think 100% that does go the distance. And Nando L says, Farmer, a good dude and always gives an honest effort. Yeah, absolutely, Nando. Like if you missed the beginning of the show, you know, Sonteo Media, you're probably not in the chat, but he's not going to like this. But I saw Tevin Farmer beat Murataya, and Murataya is a darling, 135-pound contender at Top Rank. Murataya did not deserve to win that fight at the Palms Casino last year. I really thought Tevin Farmer won that fight, and that was just one of the next two fights that I thought he was robbed of. Tevin Farmer, you know, a true champion. They did the champion wrong, obviously. They did the champion wrong on that one, and we'll see. He has a lot to prove, man. Tevin Farmer wins this fight. He becomes a great challenger opportunity, in my opinion. We've seen Tank fight 130-pound champion recently, bring him up to 135. Man, Tevin Farmer wins this fight. Tevin Farmer makes a fantastic candidate for a Tank Davis fight. And honestly, what better payday in the sport of boxing if you're in that weight division, 130, 135, than to fight Gervonta Tank Davis? If I was Tevin Farmer and I win this fight and they offer you the Shakur Stevenson fight, it's also a fight I would take in a heartbeat. So a lot of things can change this weekend. William Zepeda doesn't improve on his last performance. We could see the world change for Tevin Farmer. We really could. Again, let me quickly look at some of these fights here. Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan. The odds are still dead even. Coming up in just another week, we have the Janabek fight. We'll talk about that next Monday. Oscar Collazo, a negative 5,000 favorite. Brian Norman, a negative 700 favorite. Bruce Carrington, also Tiger Johnson, if you're a fan of him, development. He's fighting Kendo Castaneda. That should actually be a very fun fight on the undercard of the Top Rank one because Kendo Castaneda is kind of an upset-minded Latino fighter he's way better than a club fighter. He's given hell to a lot of up-and-coming talent. Tiger Johnson's going to have his hands full with him. We'll see, you know, if he's really a contender and that's what Top Rank believes, then, he shouldn't have a hard time with Kendo Castaneda. If he's not as good as Top Rank believes, we're going to see him struggle. We've seen a lot of people struggle. We've seen, Flores. Remember Flores, guys, from Stockton, California? He was supposed to get passed by a lot of guys, and then we started to see him struggle. And so I'll be paying close attention to Tiger Johnson's performance. Emiliano Vargas, a massive 3,500 favorite. That's it. I can't believe they don't have the Yokosta Valley fight on this. Coming up in the first week of April, Abdullah Mason is on that Top Rank card versus Chicago's Giovanni Cabrera, a very experienced. That's actually going to be a very good test. We got Lindolfo Delgado, Mexican Olympian, and Richard Torres at the top of the card. Damn. Those are some good ones right there, man. It's Friday at lunchtime, guys. I said I'd come on here just to talk about some of my fights. I appreciate everybody that's been in here. We're just shy of 30 likes. If you guys want to hit one more like, if you didn't hit the like, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'm on the cusp of 1,900, and I can't wait to do a giveaway at 2,000. I really want to do some merchandise giveaway once we get that first 2,000 subs. Monday nights, the Shoe Shine. Regular scheduled time. Drew Evo should be back at 7:45. Keep Drew in your prayers, guys. I think he had a little bit of a health scare yesterday. He had to go see the doctor. We'll be back on Monday. Hopefully he'll be back. If not, hit me up. Hit me up on the Instagram at shoeshine_boxing. Let me know if you want to come on as a panelist. I hope all your bets, all your parlays go well. And I hope that everybody has a great weekend, man. A great positive weekend. I'll be right here chilling at home on Saturday for the fights, watching both of them. And we'll be back on Monday night. To everybody, Fonzie, Nando, JC, everybody that joined us, Judoka Scarlett, appreciate you guys. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, peace out, everybody.